The Yankees have a stacked farm system that could give us powerful hitters,
swing and a drive,
fireball pitchers,
swing and a miss,
and franchise icons.
Drill deep to left field.
But keeping track of the stars of tomorrow can be difficult, so we're going to bring you a weekly update on the farm system, highlighting some key contributors who had standout games across all levels of the farm system. Tune in today for a trailer of the movies you'll watch tomorrow, and get ready for the Baby Bombers podcast. Let's get things started here on the offense side of the ball with the story of the week, and that was Augustine Ramirez, who now has 6 home runs in 8 games, and he's slashing .281, .395, .844, driving in 13 RBIs, and walking 5 times to just 6 strikeouts. The ability to generate contact at a high rate while also doing damage on contact has been impressive, and he's also thrown out 2 of 7 potential runners while not allowing a single pass ball thus far. He is an impressive defender behind the plate with smooth framing skills and a really good arm, and overall, he's a really well-balanced hitter. The strikeout rate has consistently remained below 20%, and we've seen an improvement to his walk rate compared to last year. At AA, he really struggled in 31 games to end his season, only hitting 2 home runs, and he's already surpassed that mark with 6. We've also seen an increase in run production, and across the board, he is just a much more balanced and skilled offensive player. When we're looking at some of his single-A metrics, we saw that there was a high zone contact rate, a low chase rate, a high Seager score, which measures your plate discipline, and a really good damage contact rate. With that stuff in mind, we know that Augustine Ramirez is going to bring an approach that generates a ton of power, can result in a lot of home runs, and he's not going to have the overwhelmingly high strikeout rates that make a concern that he won't translate at the higher levels of professional baseball. One thing he has struggled with consistently is his launch angle. He's consistently had very high ground ball rates as a product of trying to make a ton of contact, but that ground ball rate has dipped below 30%, and that's super encouraging. A lot of line drives and a lot of fly balls with his natural raw power, as we've seen him hit balls up to 114 miles per hour, is a combination that should lead to a lot of success, and I'm extremely excited to see how he continues to progress throughout the season. I think this is a top 100 prospect in the making, and he'll soon be considered one of the better catching prospects in all of baseball. The Hudson Valley Renegades were on the road, and they went to Rome to play the Emperors, the Braves' high A affiliate, and Rock Riggio stood out as one of the most impressive hitters in the organization this past week. He's now slashing .294, .480, and .528 in his first 6 games with the Hudson Valley Renegades, and this past week he had 7 walks, 4 hits, and 3 RBIs, with a stolen base for good measure. He is looking phenomenal in terms of his excellent plate discipline, and that kind of patience at the plate should help him fly through the organization quickly. The 21-year-old could be in AA by summertime, and if he's able to do that, he's certainly going to put himself in the conversation to be part of the future of this infield. He's a left-handed hitting infielder who has a swing built for Yankee Stadium, and the electricity and confidence he plays with is certainly enticing as well. There is a lot to love about Rock Riggio's profile because of the fact that he has such great plate discipline, and I'm also interested to see how he handles second base throughout the entire season. He's got some pretty decent speed, he's a pretty good athlete, and I'm excited to see how he continues to progress because he's gotten off to such a strong start and has such a confident mentality when he plays. Staying on offense here, let's go to AA again to talk about Spencer Jones, who made his 2024 debut and was certainly very impressive. He had 2 hits, including a double and single, with a walk on his ledger as well. The 23-year-old is extremely exciting and has a lot of skills that a lot of Yankee fans should be super happy about. He has excellent raw power, he's a great athlete, he plays an excellent center field, this is a guy who could steal 30 bases for you, and the hit tool certainly improved as well. The big thing, no whiffs and no strikeouts in his first game this year, and this is a trend we saw in spring training where he didn't swing and miss a lot, and the next progression for Spencer Jones is to work on getting the ball in the air consistently. I think more line drives and fly balls, specifically the right field, will help him a ton with his profile, especially as he tries to develop more game power and get accustomed to hitting at the professional level. This is an extremely talented player, but the Yankees are going to be patient and careful with his development as they get him through the organization, and he continues to flourish as the Yankees' top prospect, not named Jason Dominguez. Some other interesting names who had some pretty big weeks are Benjamin Cowles, who put up a pretty good week. He slashed .419, .514, and 613 across his first 9 games in AA, and this is his first season at AA. The big thing that's really changed for me is the strikeout rate. Throughout his minor league career before this season, he had a 29.4% strikeout rate, but this year, he struck out just 16.2% of the time. It's super interesting because he has some pretty good raw power and he can play second and shortstop, so I wonder how his progression will look as he continues to improve. Last year he went to the Arizona Fall League, and he's somebody that Caleb Durbin came on this podcast and talked about specifically as somebody who's better than people think he is. So far, he's proven Caleb Durbin to be pretty correct. Looking at some other interesting names, we have Yankee first-round pick George Lombard Jr., who walked 11 times this week and had an RBI single, which went for a walk-off and was clocked in at 107.2 miles per hour, showing improving plate discipline and some pretty strong raw power. Again, he's only just 18 years old. He'd be in high school right now. It's super impressive what he's done with the bat in the early going. Some other notable performances include Everson Pereira, who hit 2 home runs this week, Josh Bro, who hit 2 home runs in one game as the Scranton Rail Riders swept the Norfolk Tide, and we also saw some interesting names like Dylan Jaso and Alexander Vargas put up some pretty strong weeks at single A and high A respectively. Offensively, it was a very strong showing for the Yankee organization, and I'm very excited to continue to see how some of these names progress as the weeks continue. Probably the best pitching performance the Yankees got in the organization this week was from Clayton Beeter, who showed up and showed out. He fired 5 innings of one-hit baseball, striking out 8 batters while walking none. He's only had 1 outing all of last year where he walked 0 batters, and the fastball looked excellent with good velocity and elite level vertical movement with 18 to 19 inches of induced vertical break on average, and the slider was his primary strikeout pitch as always, and we even saw some changeups incorporated in there as well. On the season, Clayton Beeter's fired 8.1 scoreless frames with 13 strikeouts to 5 walks, getting off to a fast start after an excellent spring training. The walk rate is still high, and I still view him as more of a multi-inning reliever in his future, but the stuff has certainly gotten better, and I'm very excited to see how he performs in a more competitive environment like the major leagues, especially considering how high the run environment is in AAA, and how sometimes that can cause pitchers to pitch away from the zone and not be as aggressive attacking batters. Another guy in AAA who absolutely balled out was Edgar Barclay, and you might go, who the hell is this guy? But he's a pretty interesting left-handed pitcher in the Yankee organization. He fired 8 2/3 innings of 3-run baseball across 2 starts with 10 strikeouts, and while those numbers won't blow you away, that was again in AAA where the average ERA is north of 5, and against the Norfolk Tide, the team that won the AAA championship last year and is that stacked Baltimore Orioles AAA affiliate that dropped 10+ runs on the White Sox affiliate multiple times. The velocity is not good, it's 89 to 91 miles per hour from the left-handed side of his fastball, but the changeup's a really good pitch, and perhaps he'd work really well in a multi-relief role because he performs extremely well first time through the order at the AAA level, and so I'm a little bit interested to see how the Yankees choose to handle him since he was Rule 5 eligible, they didn't 40-man him, and nobody rostered him. Still, he is an interesting name, and he was a big reason why the Scranton Rail Riders were able to get that series sweep over Norfolk. Some other pitchers who pitched in that series were Will Warren and Yoanjij Gomez, with Will Warren firing 5 innings of 3-run baseball with 8 strikeouts and 2 walks, giving up 3 home runs for all 3 of his runs, although a lot of those were caught in this wind tunnel in left field that just kept carrying the ball out, and again, the run environment in AAA isn't great, so I'm not going to hold those too hard against him. It was super encouraging to see the velocity back up and the strikeouts to still be there. Yoanjij Gomez fired 3 innings of scoreless baseball at 6 strikeouts. He's a guy who could also help this team because he's on the 40-man roster, and overall, it was a really impressive week for the Scranton Rail Riders pitching-wise. Moving down to some other levels, let's look at AA, where Tristan Vierling, who's making his professional debut after rehabbing from elbow surgery the year prior, and he's been excellent. He has just 1 run allowed across 11 innings pitched, striking out 12 batters to 4 walks with 5 hits, and overall, I've been thoroughly impressed with the command early on because typically, command is something that takes a while to come back to you when you're returning from Tommy John surgery. The stuff looks good. I think the fastball velocity and the slider shape is really excellent, and overall, I'm extremely excited to see how he continues to develop as the season goes on. Another name that I think is super interesting is one of the Hudson Valley Renegades' new starting pitchers, and that's Brian Hendry, who sports a fastball that touched 100 miles per hour in instructs last summer, and he has a really good breaking ball, he has a slider and a curveball. He also got a strikeout on his changeup, getting a strikeout on all 4 of the pitches he throws, as he struck out 8 batters across 5 innings with just 1 walk, and really impressing me with the way that he was able to command his arsenal coming out of college with some pretty notable command issues. He was a 10th round pick in the 2023 draft draft class for the Yankees, and he's certainly somebody to keep an eye on as the season goes on. Names like Sebastian Keem, Cam Schlittler, and Kyle Carr all had solid outings of their own, with Jackson Fristow not going as deep into his game, but still firing some pretty impressive innings as well. The Hudson Valley Renegades have the lowest ERA in High A thus far at 1.56, and this was after they had the lowest ERA in the South Atlantic League last year as they went to the championship round. It's a very impressive unit, and Spencer Medic, the pitching coach, has done an excellent job of taking these new players, a lot of guys who either A, don't have a lot of pro experience, or B, making their pro debuts this season and getting the most out of them. Another pitcher who made their debut this week was Brock Selvage, who's been in the organization for a few years now, but is now making his debut at AA, as he fired 4 innings of 2-run baseball with 5 strikeouts and 2 walks. He was the Yankees starter of choice in the Futures game, and he was absolutely remarkable there as well, so it'll be really exciting to see how he continues to develop. Some other names who had some pretty big weeks include Kate Austin, Trent Sellers, and Ben Shields, who are all multi-inning bullpen arms who could help this team as the season goes on and potentially find themselves in the upper levels of the minor leagues. As for some names who are not on the Yankees' top 30 list or not on our top 30 list for the Yankee organization that I would say you need to keep an eye out for, Jared Wegner is one name that stands out immediately. He hit a 116 mile per hour home run this past week and has an 843 OPS in his first 9 games in AA, being drafted last season out of the University of Arkansas. One final name I wanted to mention is Brandon Lockridge, who is running a 54.5% hard hit rate with a 310, 524, 448 slash line, stealing 11 bases in 12 attempts across 12 games for the Scranton Rail Riders. He is a speedy center fielder with strong defensive skills out there, and he might profile as a really strong 4th outfield candidate if the Yankees were to need some outfield depth during the season. As for the upcoming schedule, we will see the Tampa Tarpons at St. Lucie facing the Mets single-A affiliate. The Hudson Valley Renegades will be at home for their home opener, facing the Aberdeen Ironbirds. The AA Somerset Patriots will also be at home for the Hartford Yard Goats, and the AAA Scranton Rail Riders will host the Lehigh Valley Iron Pigs for this upcoming series. If you guys want to stay up to date on what's going on with the Yankee farm system and various top performers across the organization, Fireside Yankees is your one-stop shop for all of your favorite Yankee content. We've got Major League, Minor League, all kinds of content. We've got you guys various shorts, podcasts, breakdowns, post-game live streams, all of the sort, so you guys don't want to miss out on that. Join our growing community here at Fireside Yankees, whether that's on the YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, or our Twitter pages. And you guys can also check out EmpireSportsMedia.com for your favorite New York sport teams coverage. On top of that, we also have Fireside Bets, our newest project that should bring a bunch of fun content in regards to tracking bets with the Yankees and other Major League Baseball or NBA or NFL action that we have going on as the weeks continue. Thank you guys again for tuning in, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.
Perfect.